In the past week, I've seen both the Beetlejuice movies for the first time.
Yes.
In fact, in the past, I would say I just finished the first one about 35 minutes ago.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very fresh on the Beetlejuice lore now.
Good. Yeah, because
and
I'm not gonna lie, you were kind of pissing me off in the movie watching Beetlejuice, because of course, he has to see the second one before the first one, because that's just how fucking annoying he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were watching. I took him to see Beetlejuice 2 because I wanted to see it for the show, obviously, and just to go see it for myself. And I've been watching Beetlejuice my entire life, so I obviously knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Some of the questions that Mike asked me consisted of: is Beetlejuice Winona Ryder's dad? Is Beetlejuice Winona Ryder's boyfriend?
Which that's not that far off.
Is Beetlejuice
that wasn't that far
Winona Ryder or Jenna Ortega's dad? Is Beetlejuice something else? I don't know.
There was one that I asked. Oh, I thought he was the grandpa at first because they talked about how the grandpa died.
Yeah, I know.
I thought
that's
it was
why I
the
said it.
grandpa.
Is he Winona Ryder's dad?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on a little bit of a Tim Burton kick recently. I started Wednesday with Jenna Ortega. I started that too because I've heard that's really good, and so far it's not bad. So I'm gonna keep watching that. Definitely hyped for season 2 of that. Well, I guess I'll get hype when I finish the show. But yeah, today, all Beetlejuice today.
Yep.
Beetlejuice 2. Just quick thoughts, I guess, before we get into like everything, because I do want to give our thoughts on the second one before we get into, talking about the movies more in depth. So obviously now that you have context to what is going on in the first one, what are your thoughts on Beetlejuice 2 as of now?
So I thought I caught when I was watching the first one, I caught a lot of the references that they made in the second one.
Right.
Like with the snake, or I think it was funny how Delia is this big time artist, and in the first one they make it clear, like her agent's like, yeah, we don't make any money off your artwork, which is like really funny. I also see why Lydia is so like batshit crazy in the second one about ghosts and all them and everything, and why Beetlejuice.
Because a lot of the stuff to me, it just made sense, but to you going into it, you didn't. I guess that
I'm like,
didn't,
like she's just a fucking like weirdo. I understand why Beetlejuice is so obsessed with her. Another thing I caught that some people might not have caught is Jenna Ortega goes to the same school that Winona Ryder goes to at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I
that
caught
Lydia
that too.
goes to at the end of the movie.
I caught that too.
Yeah. So there's a lot
of. It's different now. It's all upgraded and changed because I guess they put a bunch of money into it and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Which and the whole thing like that. So I really liked it. I have a hot take though. I like the second one more than the first one.
That's kind of fucking outrageous for you to say that. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the only reason for that is because you saw the second one first. If it was the other way around, you would be saying the other thing.
No, I don't think so, because the second one was so much more vibrant. It felt like it had so much more life to it. Like, I don't know. I was like entertained throughout the second one. Now the second one has bigger problems, I would say, but in terms of just pure like entertainment and just pure like. I would rewatch Beetlejuice 2.
I'm not saying I wouldn't rewatch
Beetlejuice 1.
Beetlejuice 2 is great, actually. It's like it's a solid movie. There's problems with it.
I think it's better than the first one. I mean,
that's outrageous.
Again,
I'm not gonna
shit on me all you want, but here's the thing. Like Beetlejuice 2, there was just so many like the world, I guess, of the like the afterlife was so much more fleshed out. Like. Michael Keaton. He's.
But again,
he's equally great. Hold on. Let me finish the thought. The afterlife is fleshed out. Michael Keaton is pretty honestly equally great in both movies. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't
but
think
like
there's
Willem Dafoe's character is great in the second one. Jenna Ortega's character is good. I really liked a lot of the plot. Even though he was a total piece of shit, I liked Justin Theroux's character. Like he was very good for this movie. He was very good. Like. As a total like piece of shit, we all hate this guy type of guy. I don't know, man. I thought Alec Baldwin's performance in the first one was kind of flat. I mean, we'll get more into that in when we talk about the first one. But I just thought this one had more life. It had more of that like Tim Burton flair. It had more, I guess, entertainment. I prefer the second one over the first one. I'm not gonna lie.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that. Like because again, I told him to watch the first one first, but he doesn't fucking listen to me. So
I don't. Why would I?
and procrastinates everything. He just finished the first one 30 fucking minutes ago.
Yeah. Sue me.
So if you had watched them in order, like I told you to do, the second one would have. I see what you're saying about it being more fleshed out and all of that, and that's all great, and I don't disagree with you. But what makes the first one so good and what makes it so magical, I guess, is the fact that this was the first time for a lot of people, like, we grew up watching this movie. So, like, for the first time, we're seeing a lot of this stuff and being exposed to a lot of this world for the very first time back then. So when you get to it now, it's like, it's familiar, but they're expanding on it, so it's a little bit better, but like, or not better, but it's a little bit more inviting, I guess. And it's just more familiar. But
yeah,
I do not think that this movie's better than the first one. The first one is so... First of all, it's such a linear story. It's such a linear, straightforward story.
It is written much tighter. It's written much tighter than the second one.
And to be honest, Beetlejuice is not the main character of the first movie. He's not.
No, dude, I actually looked. He doesn't like appear until like 45 minutes into the movie. It's like halfway through the runtime he doesn't appear
because he's not the main character of the film, and in the second one they make him the main character.
Which I like a lot. To be honest with you.
I don't really, doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it's Beetlejuice. He's there with or without him. To put him in the second one and not have him and not give him like the same amount of screen time or anything like that. Actually, no, I think I read that he has the exact same screen time as he does in the original, which didn't feel the case, but that's what I read somewhere.
But it's because in the second one he's more spread out, where like in the first one he doesn't appear till the halfway point, and then he's like he's almost in like every scene up until the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very
second
true.
one it's like more sporadic type of thing.
Now,
but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe this is just a me thing because I grew up with Tim Burton everything. I grew up, my favorite movie as a kid, hands down, was Nightmare Before Christmas, and Corpse Bride, and those are two of Tim Burton's like staples, and then Beetlejuice was just another one on top of that. Frankenweenie, when that came out, we saw that in theaters because that's just, again, Tim Burton is just... I love Tim Burton. His Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite live-action Disney movies. So I grew up with the original Beetlejuice, so going from this to the second one, there are problems with the second one, but none of them are problems with the legacy of Beetlejuice. It's just the story.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Like, if the story was a little bit more tight, or they cut out a lot of the other excess stupid shit from the second one, the movie would be so much more well-rounded and would make and would probably be a genuine 10 out of 10, if not 9 out of 10. Like,
I agree that the second one has a lot of bullshit, and we both know what we're talking about. It's the stupid fucking the ex-wife.
The ex-wife.
Which I actually this is one of the benefits of, I think, seeing 2 and then 1. When I was watching the first one, during the scene where he's trying to get married to Lydia, he like pulls out like a finger with a ring on there.
Yeah, I caught that.
And he was like,
"She meant nothing to me, honey." Yeah.
She meant nothing to me. And like seeing the second one, like that's a cool callback.
It is.
But obviously,
but it's not a callback. It's a call forward, I guess.
Right. It's a call. Yeah, it's called forward. Right. Yeah. Obviously, it didn't really work because when her first scene where she staples her body together and she kills Danny DeVito and, for lack of a better term, sucks the soul out of him. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pause on that for a second. And like that whole thing where she was scorned and she was the head of like this witch clan or whatever it was. I was like, okay, like this is fucking cool. And then they just don't show her for like the whole middle chunk of the movie.
Yeah, like she literally disappears from the entire plot of the film.
She disappears. She comes in at the end, and then they kill her like right away. And it's like, all right, well that was fucking.
And they do
stupid.
that with a couple of other things too, but we'll get into it when we talk about Beetlejuice too. But first and foremost, I want to talk about Beetlejuice 1, the original 1986 Beetlejuice. Yeah. So Beetlejuice 1 was Tim Burton's. It was his baby, right? So A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know this, but The Nightmare Before Christmas, it was written by Tim Burton, it was produced by Tim Burton, but it was not directed by Tim Burton. So it was actually directed by Henry Selick. So it is not a Tim Burton film. It's a Tim Burton story that was adapted into a film. And it's the same thing with Corpse Bride and a lot of stuff like that. But Beetlejuice was a Tim Burton film through and through. Everything about it. And it started with just little sketches and random designs like that. And this is why I love the relationship between Tim Burton and Danny Elfman, the composer of all of Tim Burton's projects. Danny Elfman, Tim Burton brought like some sketches to Danny Elfman and said, I'm making a movie right now and I want you to kind of play off of this. And just from the images that fucking Tim Burton showed Danny Elfman composed the entire score of Beetlejuice. It
gave me, and I know I understand why, but it gave me Batman '89 vibes, dude.
Oh, 100%. If you go back and if you listen to any of the music from Tim Burton's soundtracks, it all sounds almost the exact same. And
yeah, I mean, it's Danny Elfman's got,
he has his own style, 100%. And I like Danny Elfman because he makes them all unique for the project that he's working on. But at the same time, you can still hear bits and pieces taken from other things. So like in Nightmare Before Christmas, you can hear Batman. In Batman, you can hear fucking Beetlejuice. And you know what I'm saying? Like there are all these different things that So I love this movie just because this is Tim Burton's child. This is his baby, Beetlejuice. And I love the Maitlands. The original Ghost family. I forget the actress's name, but Alec Baldwin and his wife. I love the two of them. I can see how you're saying they're flat. I get it. It's a little bit dated now. It's old, but at the time, like I guess just growing up with the two of them, I think they're very loving characters. I don't really think there's any.
They definitely have that like that '80s movie vibe to them. Like they definitely are like that wouldn't work if it came out this year, but it's like almost endearing because the movie's like 40 years old at this point.
Right. So
holy shit, it's like 40 years old.
Yeah. So like, just that's how I always kind of look at it because you can't really look at things back then the same way you can look at them now because it was completely different.
That's fair.
So
yeah, that's fair.
Like, yes, would they be flat today? Yeah. But back then, they were good, well-rounded characters, and there was nothing, inherently wrong with them.
Right.
Catherine O'Hara in the first movie is fucking hilarious, dude. Genuinely one of the fucking funniest moments, or funniest characters. And she brings that into the second one, but she's a lot more tame in the second one. Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, she's a lot more, like, vibrant in the second one.
Yeah,
like
but
she's vibrant in the first one too.
No, but I'm saying she's tamer in the second one. I feel like she's a lot more chill. Like she's not. Dude, in the first one, she literally screams at the top of her lung. I'll put the clip in, but she like screams at fucking the dad, which fuck
Charles.
that guy. Fuck.
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah. You were telling me about that like right before the movie started, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunate bit of circumstances because that guy is unfortunately in a lot of beloved childhood movies, especially from around that time. But yeah, he got arrested for bad stuff, really bad stuff that I don't even think YouTube would allow me to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't say it, but no
look it up.
Google it if
his
you guys.
His name is Jeffrey
Google
Jones.
It,
it's not hard to find.
Yeah.
He's not a good dude, which is why he's not in the second one.
He wasn't even that good in the movie either, so fuck him twice. I mean, he wasn't even.
He's just there in the movie, but a lot of people know him from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is his big. That's like his inherently, what people know him from. And he's in. Is he in Clue? I feel like he's in Clue, but I could be completely wrong on that. I don't know. Either way, fuck that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's performance in the second one is a lot. They really let him let loose with the second one.
Yes.
But in the first one, it was the 80s, and there was a lot of shit that Michael Keaton was trying to get into the movie, but he couldn't because at the time it was just not like dude, did you see the part when he's asking him like, is he scary or not, or whatever? and he like turns around and faces away from Alec Baldwin. He like does like the jerk off motion with his hand, like shit like that.
I didn't catch
dude.
that. No, I didn't catch that. No.
No, yeah, it's really quick. It's fucking hilarious. Or obviously his most iconic line from the first one, "Nice fucking model," and then he grabs his nuts.
Yeah.
Hilarious every time. Makes me
I
laugh
like the
every
part.
single time.
I love the part when he like first appears and he's like, "I watched The Exorcist and it gets funnier."
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
like,
Well,
like,
that
that's
whole
just so funny to
monologue,
me.
that whole monologue there is also fucking peak. But yeah, I think Michael Keaton has stated before that Beetlejuice is actually his favorite character that he's ever played.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame
As an
him.
actor, that's got to be so much fun.
I don't blame
do.
him at all.
I mean, being Batman is great, but
But
like,
Batman is so rigid. It's so strict.
you got to be like in this box,
Right,
And
right.
with Beetlejuice, you get to do
There is
basically
no
whatever
box.
the fuck you
There
want.
is literally no
No.
box. As long as you,
Yeah.
he's just the most vile, disgusting fucking demon imaginable, and it's just he's
Yeah.
yeah.
By the way, did you see that video? Did you see that video? That guy who was interviewing him a couple weeks ago. They showed him the clip of when he spoiled Batman, and he was like, "Yep, that sounds like something I would do."
yeah,
Because he talks in the interview. He's like, "Yeah, and the Joker, who we later find out is the one who killed Batman's parents."
oh yeah,
And-
I've seen that clip. Yeah,
And they were interviewing him, and Michael Keaton was like, "I don't remember that, but that sounds like something I would say."
yeah.
Michael Keaton's hilarious, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm happy with the second one, but the first one to me is just such like a untouchable thing, I guess.
And that's like, and I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but like you're nostalgic about it, and I think a lot of people are, and that's a lot of movies like that. Like nobody will ever tell me that The Empire Strikes Back is a bad movie,
No,
or
exactly.
that any of the newer ones are better.
And that's
You
how I
can't-
feel
you
about
can't do
this
it.
one. That like
And that's how you feel, and that's fine. I just watched the shit, 25 minutes ago, wherever it was, so I don't have those same, feelings over time like you do, which is why I'm not screaming and yelling at you.
The thing
I
that
get it.
is the thing that is good about like that helps this movie is definitely Halloween time. There is definitely something about watching this around September, October in this time frame that works and makes it better. Not saying that you need to. You can watch this movie whenever, and there's plenty of people that do. But when you turn this movie on around this time of year, it works.
Yep, it does.
And
It does.
It's not just me saying like this movie's good because it's nostalgia. This movie is just a good movie. Beetlejuice 1 is just a good film. Like
Yeah, it is a good movie. I
it's
don't have a lot of
creative.
complaints.
It's creative. It's original. There's very
Yeah.
little plot holes or anything like that. There's just a lot of things like that. So yeah, I don't know. Beetlejuice 1 is the shit. Oh, also, the so my last name is actually in this movie.
Shaddix?
Yeah. So the actor who plays Otho, also great fucking character. Love him to like. Otho is like one of the funniest parts of the original movie. His last name is Shaddix, but he's missing one D. So mine's two D's and his is only one, but it's spelled the exact same way.
That's funny. That is funny.
Because
No,
I was
I also
watching
will
it
say-
and it was in the opening credits, and I was like, "What the fuck? That's my last name. What the hell? Like, do I have a relative
Yo, what the
that was in
fuck? I
Beetlejuice?"
don't remember. I don't
Yeah.
remember being in this movie.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah. I will say the other thing that isn't. I'm not gonna say it's not fair for me to say the second one's better because you could tell the second one had a much higher budget, like much higher budget.
Oh yeah.
And again, that's nobody's fault. It's just it is what it is. But like, that is to your point. That's part of the thing where it's like, all right, you can't really. It's like an apples to orange comparison because this one was made in 2024 with however $1 million budget, and then that one was made in 1986. You said the first one came out.
I'm like 90% sure. 86.
Yeah, I was
or-
gonna ask you before we hopped on. I was gonna say, was this pre or post Batman? But it was definitely pre. I was thinking about. I was like, it's definitely
definitely
before Batman
pre.
because this.
No,
this had to be.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
Was it? Okay. I'll say my reasoning. I was pretty certain that this was before Batman because, like you said, this is one of Tim Burton's first movies. This is Michael Keaton's.
Holy shit! This was okay. This was a year before Batman premiered, before Batman came out. So They could have
Holy
filmed Batman before this, but I don't think that was the case.
So honestly, Batman was probably greenlit before this movie came out then.
Yes.
Holy
Most
shit.
likely.
All right. Wow. That's to me is surprising because this is a movie where I would imagine studios had a hard time greenlighting this movie just because it is so
Well, that's
fantastical.
The thing. That's the thing about Warner Brothers, and or not with, I guess, with Warner Brothers, but Tim Burton in general, right? Tim Burton actually just got his Hollywood Walk of Fame. Fucking congratulations on that. About fucking time, by the way.
Yeah, finally, yeah.
Like, it's okay. The dude only fucking directed and wrote like 90% of Hollywood's biggest films, but okay, yeah.
But all right.
So I lost my train of thought. Tim Burton, right? He was always the oddball of Hollywood, right? And
Yeah.
they would not, like, studios would just kind of be like, all right, yeah, here's some money. Go do whatever you want with your weird
Go do your weird shit.
Go do
yeah.
your weird movie that's not going to work, and there's going to be, like, no one that sees it, and go have fun. And then he'd be like, okay, cool. And then that's when he'd bring in Danny Elfman and whatever. And that's when, like, Danny Elfman even attests to this, and he did a thing with his, you know how they do, like, the most iconic roles videos? Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Danny Elfman did one, but it was his most iconic scores that he's written.
Yeah.
And he was talking about Beetlejuice, and he was saying how, like, the studio never gave a fuck about what they did because they were always just the weird guys that whatever, just kind of did whatever. So
Yeah.
he was just saying how, like, producers would just kind of, like, would barely ever appear on set to, like, see what they were doing, if ever. Like, maybe once or twice. And if they ever did, they'd be there for, like, 5 minutes just to see that their money wasn't being wasted. And then they'd leave. So, like, they wouldn't, like, they literally, no one gave a fuck. And then Beetlejuice comes out. Let me see what Beetlejuice made. 1988. Opening weekend. So, the original one earned... Holy shit. So, the original Beetlejuice film earned a mere $8 million in its opening weekend in 1988. Unadjusted for inflation, but went on to make $77 million in theaters domestically as it became a cult classic. So, this movie was a fucking box office smash in 1988.
Yeah, that's really good for 1980, whatever you said.
So in 1988, $77 million domestically at the end of its run is fucking crazy.
Jeez.
The second one drew in $110 million in the opening weekend. So,
jeez.
This is what put Tim Burton on the map for sure. Like, because before this, let me see actually. I don't even know if I don't even know Tim Burton's sorry, keep talking, Mike.
No, I was looking up some numbers for Beetlejuice 2, and they're making money too, man. Third highest, what does it say? 2024's third highest domestic opening. So probably Deadpool and Dune were probably the two that beat it for best opening.
Oh, shit. So the movie that he actually did before Beetlejuice, was Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No.
That's kind of a niche movie, I'm not going to lie. I would not be surprised if you didn't see that. But Pee-wee's Big Adventure, another fucking cult classic, but let's see how much Pee-wee made. Sorry, one sec.
No, you're good, man. We're just all going to stare at you intently while you type on your phone.
That's fine. I'm on my computer. That's fine. So Pee-wee's Big Adventure opened on August 9th in 1985 in the United States, accumulating 4.5 million over its opening weekend, and went to gross 40 million domestically, 4.9 million domestically.
Damn.
Holy shit. And the other two movies I don't think are as big because I've never seen them, to be honest. But yeah, Pee-wee's Big Adventure was his big one, and then that movie's weird as fuck. I mean, it's not like weird. It's like definitely like more geared toward kids. It's not scary. It's not adult. It's very much a kids film. and then he does Beetlejuice in 1988, and then Beetlejuice gets him Batman.
Yeah, jeez Louise. Well, I'm sure some executives saw what he was working on with Beetlejuice and was like, "Yeah, dude, we're gonna give you Batman," because that was the first. Well, because here's the other thing about, and I'll be quick, I promise. That first Batman movie is so iconic because it made Batman like not a bitch anymore. Because the only Batman like media they had at that point, in terms of like TV and movie, was Adam West, who was a fucking cornball, and
Right.
so the whole point was like to make Batman, make him cool, make him tough, and whatever. So they must have had a lot of faith in Tim Burton, or Tim Burton must have presented them a fantastic vision for what he thought of Batman. Because
I think that this movie wasn't really like, I don't know, like, yes and no, because I feel like it was more the money, right? I feel like it was more of like, holy shit, this kid who just made this fucking weird ass movie that no one thought was gonna work just made fucking $40 million at the box office, you know, or what did it say, 11 million or something like that? 77 million. My fault. Almost $80 million domestically, and it's like, okay, well, like, shit, who do we, you know, who, and we'll talk about this on our Batman episode, but
well, yeah. And I'm sure they probably were in the works of him before that, but I'm sure they saw what Beetlejuice was like. They're like, oh shit, this kid's good. Then they saw how much money Beetlejuice made. They're like, oh shit, this kid's good and he makes money. And then he got Batman. But like you said, it was only a year away, so it would have probably Batman might have been in production during.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, because who knows when it was actually filmed? I mean, we could look it up. It's probably not that hard. I do research on it, but I don't feel like doing all that right now.
Yeah. Who knows? Google
yeah. But like, it could have very, very well been that Batman was already in production when Keaton was playing Beetlejuice, and vice versa, or vice versa. But yeah, who knows?
Talk about putting on different hats. It's like he's like playing Beetlejuice, then he's got to go to like a different studio.
And
go
before
and
this,
play
he was fucking
Bruce
Mr.
Wayne.
Mom. That's what Michael Keaton was known for. He was Mr. fucking Mom. Like,
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And then he comes in, he kills Beetlejuice, absolutely kills Beetlejuice, and then goes in to do Batman, and he's like the most iconic Batman of all time. Like, the one that everyone remembers.
Yeah, 2 Batman movies. Yeah.
Right.
And then, now in our generation, he's known as being Morbius's best friend, Vulture. So, like, he's just had decades of success. You know what I'm saying?
Gross. But yeah.
I can feel you staring at me through the screen. My fault.
Yeah. That's outrageous. But yeah. So, he's also in the Other Guys. Fucking love that movie. Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
You've seen that movie,
He's also in
right?
The Founder. No, I haven't. But he's also in The Founder. I've seen that movie.
Oh, yeah, he's in The Founder. Yeah. We were just talking about that the other day before we saw Beetlejuice,
we were.
actually.
Yeah, we were.
So, yeah, Beetlejuice 1. I love Beetlejuice 1. It's definitely a cult classic for many reasons, but Beetlejuice 1 is hands down just peak Tim Burton.
Yeah.
If you want, there's really nothing more Tim Burton you get with Beetlejuice.
No, I agree. Like, Beetlejuice 2 as well, but Beetlejuice 1 is peak just 80s Tim Burton, and you'll know it when you see it. That's the type of thing I say.
There's obviously you have negatives. Again, you just watched it. There's no ill will that I hold toward Beetlejuice. I just can't. There's nothing that I don't like about it. I just love the movie, everything about it, and that's just me. But yeah.
And I get it, because again, if you want to tell me that Empire Strikes Back sucks, or that there's something wrong with it, that movie is perfect. There's nothing wrong with that movie. I will never admit that there's a single thing wrong.
And like, it's the same thing with me in Beetlejuice. Like,
other
than their
shitty
casting choices and the fucking horrible people that they bled onto the set, there's nothing that I see inherently wrong with it. But yeah.
No.
Now, Beetlejuice 2. I went into Beetlejuice 2 as a fan of Beetlejuice, really not expecting much, because I feel like that's how you go into it. A lot of people were saying that it's not as good as the first one, blah, 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 blah. Listen, if you go into a movie, a sequel of all things, that's made fucking 40 years later, expecting it to be better or the same as the first one, you're already setting yourself up to be disappointed, because there's no fucking way.
Yeah, you are.
There's no way.
You are. Yeah.
It's not going to capture the same magic. It's not going to capture lightning in that bottle again. What they can do, though, is let that lightning out and kind of expand on it and build from what is already there. And that's what I think they did here with Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah.
in a good way, in a very good way.
Yeah.
What were some of your negatives about it?
So I thought like we said with the ex-wife, like they tried to put too much shit in this movie. I also thought some of the plot points were really rushed. Like the boyfriend thing
Yeah.
was that was really rushed at the end there. The ex-wife thing was really rushed at the end. You know, I don't know. I thought the ending kind of didn't stick the landing as much as it could have because again, they set up a lot of cool stuff. It's just the landing didn't quite go.
That whole wedding scene with
the whole
that
I will
whole,
say
like, song
if
shit.
you're trying to argue with me, and now I'm not saying you, I'm saying in general, if somebody's trying to argue with me that Beetlejuice 1 is better than Beetlejuice 2, one of the main arguments needs to be the wedding scene because the wedding scene in the first one is so much better than the wedding scene in the second one.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yes.
just that was like one of the first things I thought of. I was like, wow, this is like way better. And it's not as, I guess, animated. It's not as like goofy.
Well, just the
but
setting is a lot
it's
better.
witty, it's
that
quick.
Fucking corny looking ass church. I did not like that at all. Although
I did like when Willem Dafoe came up with like the ops and like was like, you know, like that part was funny, but in the first one when like they're all trying to say Beetlejuice and he's like, you know, putting the zip on the girl's mouth and he's like, you know, zapping him out of there and whatever, it's like, okay. That was just quick. It was just fun. It was just, you know,
the snake
whatever.
scene in the first one too. I like a lot too, where he turns himself into a snake.
Yeah.
Cool as fuck.
But other than that, like I thought it was wildly entertaining. I thought it was really, really funny. I thought one of the first jokes that made me audibly laugh out loud is when they were one of them was talking about the ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, she's a soul sucker, and he goes, you could say that again. That made me
you were
almost jump out of my seat.
Yeah.
It was so funny to me. But
yeah.
no, he's ridiculously funny in this one. I mean, Willem Dafoe is hilarious. I thought, again, even though he's a total piece of shit, it's on purpose. The husband is hilarious in this movie, where he's like,
Rory is his name.
Rory. Where he's like, you have some. Rory, he's like, where you have some unpackaged trauma we need to work through. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, he's such
like,
a dick. He's fucking annoying as hell.
Dick.
But it's like it's like the good.
It's
annoying.
like good annoying.
It's good annoying. Yeah.
It's like you want like to punch this guy in the face.
Yeah, like and the performance is also fucking great. Like you can't.
Yes.
It's hard to play. Like honestly, it's difficult to play a character that you like are like written to hate and actually pull it off. Like that's difficult. So like it's good that he was able to pull that off, and I think that's Anyway.
And then obviously, Jenna Ortega. I feel like if you're making a horror movie in our day and age, you got to have Jenna Ortega in it. She's just the queen of.
She's the new.
She's the scream queen at this point, and she's really good. I thought, her character. I think
so
her
well
character
with Tim
mirrored her. No, yeah. Her character like mirrored what Lydia was a lot in the first one, which is like edgy, like don't talk to me, I'm in my own world. And then obviously in the first one we see Lydia open up, and then now we see Jenna Ortega open up as well towards the end of the movie. And I don't know, I thought there were a lot of good parallels from the first one. Like you said, I would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have done this if I'd seen the first one. Like, I'm not going to go into the second one being like, this needs to be Beetlejuice 1, but better. It's not going to happen. Like, don't set up that expectation.
Yeah.
I thought it expanded, like I said.
If you go into it with the idea of like, okay, this is a Beetlejuice movie, and it's a sequel to the first one, and let's just see what happens. Like, if you go into it with an open mind about it, you're going to have fun. But if you go into it being like, this movie needs to. If you go into it with a standard already set, you're fucking yourself. Yeah. Truly. Like, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to get pissed off. But as far as the negatives go for me, though, the 2/3 of this movie is fucking fantastic. 2/3.
Yes. Yep.
In my opinion, get rid of the wife plotline.
Yeah.
That was fucking just.
Get rid of the wife and flesh out the boyfriend a little bit more. Like,
I would have liked to, again, yes, I would have liked to see the boyfriend, the ghost boyfriend, serial killer boyfriend shit. That was cool as fuck, and like that reveal at the end was fucking great. But then like again, Beetlejuice literally just says later fucker and then just sends him to hell. That's the whole thing. That's it.
But that was hilarious though. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's
That
funny,
was pretty funny.
but that's
Yeah.
wrapping it up grossly quick, like brutally fast. Like I was like, okay, I guess we're done with that now. And then the wife shows up in the last 5 minutes, and she just Beetlejuice 6. What was it? Beetlejuice 6 her on Rory. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then they end up getting fucking, I don't know, a sandworm or something eats them.
Yeah, I think the sandworm comes in and eats him.
But like,
yeah.
Again, the ex-wife had no business being in that movie at all. Like there was no reason for her to be there.
Yeah, no.
I really want to know what happened with that because I feel like Tim had something written or like had a very linear idea.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I feel like other people kind of got jumbled into the mix or something and threw in some of their own idea. I don't know. I could be wrong. It could all have been Tim, but I don't know.
I think honestly, if you want to keep the ex-wife as the flashback, I think that would have been fine.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
Like,
yeah.
Cause like the flashback of them, like when he was like the grave robber and he was, she found him and then they had their, let's say, adventure together.
Yeah.
Like that would have been cool as like a little like background, like almost like thought bubble, but like it's so stupid because the whole movie she's hunting him, right?
And we don't see any of it.
We just don't see it. Like we see Willem Dafoe being like, we gotta find her. Somebody find Beetlejuice and whatever. And it's like, she's not a threat at all during this movie.
And
like she kills the one like store guy, but
there were times during the movie where like I kind of had a feeling this is going to come. It's all going to come together at the end, and it's not going to fit well. It's just going to be a jumbled fucking mess, and then they're just kind of resolve each other, and that's it. And unfortunately, that's exactly how it played out. So the end of the movie loses a lot of points for me.
It went from like a 9 to like an 8. I'd say.
I would say. I would give it just for the fact of like the last hour of the movie is all just a bunch of jumbled fucking garbage. Like, it's like a 7.5 for me.
Wow, I like this movie more than you. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
But I did like, again, there's a lot of good things like
no, there is absolutely there's
the afterlife being fleshed out. Like the Soul Train was really good.
Yeah, that was funny as hell. That was funny as hell.
That was funny as fuck. Yeah, it was funny as hell.
The dad was cool. I do think
with the fish on him, that was so funny.
Oh my god,
that was really so funny,
dude. There is a fucking picture in the photo album because Jenna Ortega goes into the attic where the Maitlands, were in the original house and whatever. And she goes through an old photo album and she finds pictures of Winona Ryder when she's young with her, her movie dad. And dude, there's a fucking picture of Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder that they photoshopped Johnny Depp out of. He
had to have been okay with that because I know he's good 100%. With Tim Burton too.
Yeah, they're like best friends. Yeah.
That's so funny. I was gonna ask you too, like. I was going to ask you, like, do you think there was, obviously we know the whole Alec Baldwin situation going on. Do you think there was consideration to put them in this movie, the Ghost family, or no?
I was wondering about that myself. I'm not going to lie to you. I really did think about that.
I guess with the way the first movie ended, like, the door's still open. You know what I'm saying?
Because
like, they're not...
because I always seem to miss this, but I guess, like, when they're first looking at the book for the recently deceased... in the first movie, it explains that they have to be stuck in purgatory for 150 years before they get sentenced to either heaven or hell. Like, that's the point. That's why they're ghosts.
Yeah.
So,
right.
They're stuck in that house for 150 fucking years. So, timeline-wise, it's been 40 of those years. They still got 110 years left. They would still be in the house. But Lydia explains to Jenna Ortega's character... Why do I keep forgetting her fucking name?
Yeah, I forgot her name too. I'm gonna be real with you.
But yeah, she ends up explaining that they quote found a loophole, and were able to send them to move on.
Yeah, that's some pretty like corny writing just to say they didn't want Alec Baldwin.
Well,
or they
it's
couldn't
not
have Alec
corny.
Baldwin
I guess it works. I guess there's nothing wrong with that write-off. If they couldn't get him in the movie, I guess that works. Like there's nothing wrong with it.
They would have been. Listen, I'm not complaining because they would have been. If they were in the movie, that would have been way too much shit. Like
yes,
the movie's
100%,
already.
100%.
The movie's already like overstuffed.
Yes,
they would have been way too much. But I was thinking about that watching the first one because they were so essential to the first movie, and
Well,
like
also
when she comes
another
back,
thing too.
I thought the scene at the end was cool. I thought the scene at the end was cool when she's like studying for school and
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like
yeah.
helping her, like
Yeah.
that was like super wholesome. And
Yeah.
then I was like, why aren't they in the second one? But
Well, another thing too I was thinking about is if they were to be in the movie, ghosts don't age, so they would have had to use that fucking awful de-aging bullshit on them for
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole movie.
yeah,
And no, I'm good with that. I'm cool on
yeah.
all that.
No, that's true. That's
So
true. That's true.
if eliminating them from the movie because they look way fucking different than they did back in 1988, if that was the price to pay for that and them not being in the movie, I'm totally fine with that. I'm good.
Dude, Alec Baldwin looks so different than what I'm
He
used to
does,
seeing him.
yeah.
Because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was looking, I was like, is that fucking Alec Baldwin? And it was. Holy
Old as
shit.
yeah, he's young as shit in that movie.
Yeah,
But-
and thin. Sorry, my fault.
I mean, I just feel like he just got like bigger. I don't think he's like fat. I think he's just like a bigger
He got
guy.
like, yeah, he got like, it looks like he got taller too. Like he seems like shorter than.
Yeah, like he just
like,
looks
weird.
like yeah. What was he like 12 and they just caught him after puberty
Yeah.
or something like or like right
he
before
hit
puberty?
He hit puberty at 30 apparently.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, jeez Louise.
Anyways, yeah. So, Beetlejuice 2, the good of Beetlejuice 2. Jenna Ortega fucking kills it. She's great in this movie.
yeah,
and
I mean
it is
that's not a surprise. We knew that.
It is not a carbon copy of Wednesday, if that's what a lot of people were hoping not to see. It's not just Wednesday. You know, she's not just playing the same
Does Tim
character.
Burton direct Wednesday or produce
Yes.
it?
He directed Wednesday, and I'm pretty sure wrote it or produced it or something. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Also,
sense.
Brad Pitt getting a fucking producing role in this movie
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what the fuck?
in Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah,
What the fuck? Okay. Random as
'cause
fuck, but alright.
he's a piece of shit, right? Right?
I mean, yeah, that's
I don't
the,
even-
the,
I
the
can't even keep up anymore, man.
yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
know.
so done
But
with all this shit.
apparently, yeah, he's not the
Yeah.
best guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That was random as fuck. I was like, Brad Pitt. Why is he a fucking executive producer? That's weird. But
Watch
yeah.
it just be just like a random dude named Brad Pitt that they just like put
Yeah,
on the
it's
screen
not
just
Brad
to
Pitt.
get
Yeah,
everybody- yeah.
spelled the exact same way. But
Well, I mean, how else would you spell Brad Pitt?
I mean, I
Brad
guess.
Pitt with one T.
I guess, yeah. Like,
I mean, that's pretty funny. I mean, and Brad is not like Brad and Pitt are not uncommon names. It definitely could happen. I'm just saying, could happen.
yeah.
Also,
Anyway,
did you see that thing? I want to talk to you about this. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see that thing where Michael Keaton said that his real name is Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
But when he was like signing up for his like,
SAG after.
you know,
yeah.
so yeah, all that you couldn't use Michael Douglas, so you had to use Michael Keaton.
Yeah, because
That's
Michael
really
Douglas
funny
was
to me.
already taken. There's a lot of stories like that actually. There's
Michael B. Jordan, I'm sure, did that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Michael B. Jordan.
Because Michael Jordan is the actual Michael Jordan because of Space Jam.
I'm pretty
so,
sure Johnny Depp isn't Johnny Depp's real name. Let me see.
I know a lot of people like they'll use, you know, if their name's really long, they'll do like CJ or DJ or something like that.
His name's John
or they'll use their
Christopher Depp the second. So yeah, I guess he's not that far off.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that's funny. I wonder what I would use for my name. I'd probably use Magic Johnson. No, that one's already taken. I can't use that. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll come up with
honestly, just Mike Defram would probably be a great actor
Yeah.
name. Like I could see that fucking.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Short and
definitely
sweet.
right next to. Yeah, short and sweet. Yep.
I've always thought about mine too because I don't know how I would like what because I am named after somebody, you know. So like
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always thought about that of like what I would do for my celebrity. Like if I was an actor and they were like, you can't use Jacoby Shaddix, I'd be like, okay, well. I mean, I don't know.
Shit.
Jake. I mean, I go, you know,
Yeah.
that was like my childhood nickname.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I
So,
like- maybe you could pull Zendaya and just do Jacoby as your stage name. That'd be kind of hard.
that'd be sick. That would
That'd be kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
So, Jenna Ortega's great. Catherine O'Hara coming back, honestly, fucking killed it. Like, that's awesome. Why can't Catherine
Yeah.
O'Hara come back for a good, proper sequel to Home Alone 2? Or to Home Alone? You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's still around
Yeah.
and she's still acting, like, why don't she just do Home Alone again?
Yeah, that's true.
And like
That's
bring
true.
back Macaulay Culkin and all, like just bring it all back, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Keaton in this one, really fucking funny. Like genuinely, some of this, like I would argue, honestly, he's funnier in the second one. I would argue that he's funnier in the second
I
one.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. He's funny on the second one. Yep.
The later fucker caught me really off guard and fucking
Yeah, that
made
did.
me
That was
lose
really
my
funny.
shit laughing. That was funny as hell.
Yeah.
No, because he goes,
Yeah.
what does he say? What's that one fucking philosopher they keep talking about in this movie? It's not Machiavelli. It's
Aristotle?
Dostoevsky or however the fuck you say that.
I don't know.
Whatever, but he's like, as he once said, later fucker, and then like sends him to hell. Funny as shit. That shit killed me.
That was
The
really
reveal of the boyfriend being a serial killer who died running from the police, fucking
Yeah,
that
oh
was
my
sick
gosh.
as fuck. That was
No,
awesome.
and then when Lydia is
parents?
like running up
Yeah,
to try
yeah.
to save her, and you see the parents like, oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that was.
I knew
crazy.
in the movie too. I was like, that's kind of weird that they didn't show their faces. Like that's weird.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, what kind of parents just let their kids walk upstairs with a girl? Like that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Yeah,
holy shit.
I was like, yeah, that's kind of like, damn, they like really
Like-
must not give a fuck. And then
yeah, I was like, damn, okay.
the mom was acting
Jenna,
weird too.
Jenna
like,
Ortega's in your house. Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever.
The mom
Sorry,
was
go ahead.
acting super weird and like I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Well,
She
I was
has
tipped
a.
off a little bit because he said something. He was like, "All my mom does is bake all day," and I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of weird."
Oh, yeah. Again,
I was like, I
there's a
don't know.
bunch of clues.
There's the clues,
There's
yeah.
breadcrumbs.
There were clues.
There's breadcrumbs. And then you
Yeah,
get to
there
it, and
was,
there's a
there was.
fucking saw sticking out of the dad's face and a fucking whisker in the mom's eye socket. It's like, damn. Like, damn. Not
Yeah.
expecting that. I mean, it's Tim Burton, so I kind of was, but like, not really. Like, damn.
Yeah. No.
And again, that is the plot line I would have liked to see progress. That would have been a cool plot line. To
Yeah.
see that progress and to see that move forward. But we don't get that. Jenna Ortega
Yeah.
gets
No.
taken to the afterlife, whatever, and she basically signs this thing saying that she's going to give this guy her soul so that he can come back to the real world and
Yeah.
he can live again and
Yeah.
continue being a fucking weird serial killer.
I like how they made that emphasis though. Like, it wasn't certified until it got like stamped. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you had to, like.
Yeah.
I love how they basically made the afterlife like the DMV,
Yeah,
which is it's so
the
funny to me how they
DMV
did
or
that.
like the airport, pretty much. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah. Go over here, stand in this line, do that. And so by the time he gets up, then obviously Beetlejuice is ready, and he's like, "Later, fucker."
Yeah,
Sends
yeah.
him down, and it was hilarious. Yeah, no,
the again, ex-wife, that was dumb. Danny DeVito popping up, cool as fuck. I'm always down with
yeah,
that.
it was. Yeah, I love the Penguin, bro.
Yeah, no,
Hell yeah, and
absolutely.
And right before the Penguin show comes out, like that's just hilarious.
Yes, also great. But yeah, I mean, honestly, Beetlejuice 2, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I
pretty
agree.
good.
It's pretty damn good.
Again, the first one, I still view it as its own little separate thing, but this is a cool sequel. It works. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like for the other people that were saying like this movie's bad or not great or not good at all in that sense, like we must have watched two different movies, I guess, because I don't know what the fuck you were saying.
You must have seen. They must have watched the Zack Snyder director's cut of this movie. I don't
yeah,
know.
I
'Cause
guess
this
I
one
don't
was
know.
good.
Yeah, this one's fucking. They must have, I guess. I don't know.
I looked it up. I'm gonna look up again. I looked it up when we left the theater. The Rotten Tomato score, and it was what? It was like 80. It was okay. It was like 80. I think it's down to like 77 now. Audience scores 82. I'd say that's about right. I'd maybe be a little bit nicer, but I think that by and large that's a pretty good score. That's
Honestly,
pretty
dude,
accurate.
I think this movie for me, just because the end is such a, I was feeling the runtime at the end. I was feeling the runtime, and
Yeah.
that's bad because the movie's not that long. Movie doesn't
No,
even crack
it's really
2
not.
hours. So the fact
It's like
that I was like,
it's like an hour 45.
the
Yeah.
fact that I was like getting bored watching it because I was like, okay, we got to kind of wrap this up. Like, there's no resolution happening right now. There's not even like a rising action going on. There's just like shit happening all at once.
Yeah.
What is going on? You know? So like I was
Yeah.
kind of feeling it, and that that marked down some big points for me because it's very difficult for me to feel the runtime in a movie. Truth be told.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's a me thing. That's a me thing.
When
I always am talking
when
about
I
that shit.
start being like, okay, we need to wrap this the fuck up in a Beetlejuice movie, okay, like there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
something needs to change here. So that's why it's
Yeah.
honestly a 7.5 for me. It's a 7.5.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stay
I'll go
at
8.
that.
I'll go 8. Yeah.
I'm gonna stay at that. Just because the ending of it was just and dude, the church scene, honestly, the wedding scene, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Like genuinely,
didn't work. It
what
didn't
the
work,
fuck?
no.
There is a literal 5-minute. It's like a 5-minute fucking musical number.
Yeah, that didn't work for me.
And it's not even, it's just them playing a song. It's like a music video, pretty much. It's like a weird ass fucking music video, and it does not work. And it was like, what the fuck is this? Like,
I was watching football the previous Sunday. We saw it on Tuesday. I was watching football on Sunday, and they kept showing commercials for that, and the commercials were just that scene, like with that music. So I feel like they used that for some marketing reasons, not so much for the plot.
well,
I feel like that was a big marketing thing for them.
It's an old song. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So-
But listen, Tim Burton has had some misses. I'm not gonna lie. Tim Burton, whatever. But
Yeah.
Tim Burton will always have a soft spot for me. I will always always have room in my heart for Tim Burton movies, just because they work. I'm a huge fan of Tim Burton. I've always loved Tim Burton and Danny Elfman working together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it works for me. So.
Yep.
Well,
Well, I think that pretty much does it for this episode, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for the most part. I mean, again, this kind of got me back on my Tim Burton kick, so I started watching Wednesday. I'm definitely going to keep watching Wednesday. If you like Jenna Ortega, directed by Tim Burton, or if you just like Jenna Ortega in general, watch Wednesday, dude. Like, it's good.
I like Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Who doesn't like Jenna? Dude,
Honestly,
who doesn't
yeah.
like Jenna Ortega?
and not even
mean-
like in like a she's pretty way. She's just a great actress. Like, she's just fun and entertaining to watch. She's just a great
Yeah.
actress. Like, and there's nothing even more to it than that. Like, she's just great to watch on screen.
No, she is.
So,
Speaking of Jenna Ortega, though, I do have to watch that Sabrina Carpenter music video that
dude,
she
me
was in
too.
with Jenna
Yeah,
Ortega.
I haven't watched that either.
I've seen clips on Twitter, but I need to watch the whole thing to just to really get the music kind of in my soul. You know what I'm saying?
for
to really
sure, for sure.
to really feel the music. But
But yeah,
that'll wrap it up.
Beetlejuice, boys. It was great. Honestly,
Yeah.
fun time. It was
I
a
liked
great
it.
movie. Taking Mike to go see it was a bit frustrating, but it was still fun.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
But yeah, honestly, if you grew up watching Beetlejuice, go into it with an open mind. You'll have fun. If you know, you're just gonna go in and be like, this needs to be as good as the first one, you're not gonna like it. Straight up. You're just not
pretty
gonna like
much.
it. And if you've never seen the first one, watch the fucking first one before you go see the second one.
Yeah, definitely don't watch the second one before you've seen the first one.
Yeah, well,
Fucking
you're just
dumbasses.
a fucking asshole, so.
Yeah, I am. Anyways, guys,
Yeah.
have a good rest of your day.
Also, next week, don't forget, we are going to be doing some more Halloween stuff coming up here soon. Actually coming up here soon, Mike, we got Penguin coming out, dude. So,
Batman episode, baby. Let's go.
Batman episode is coming up. So, stay tuned.
This is what I know.
Stay tuned
Let's
for
go,
that.
baby.
So, all right, boys. We'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Thanks, guys.
Jacoby.